pour a cup of coffee and wake the kids. It's the Central Ohio High School Showcase with Derrick Owens Jr. Now here's your host of the C.O.H.S.S, D.O. Jr.
What's good? Good morning. How are you? Welcome to the Central Ohio High School Showcase, the C.O.H.S.S. I'm your host, Derrick Owens Jr. What a night we had. Again, last night, I feel like we say this every week. We started this around as far as these big games in Central Ohio, high school football, a couple weeks ago, where you just had big game after big game after big game. We had another one last night, and it lived up to the expectations. Again, welcome to the C.O.H.S.S. Today we got a special show for the Pick Six. As you know, we do every week, my top 6 games of the week. We're going to have TJ Walters from Ohio Elite Prep Magazine in with us today to go over some of those big games. And also, we're going to have one of the top volleyball players in the state of Ohio, one of the top track and field athletes in the state of Ohio. And I'm just using state of Ohio just to be kind, but she's really one of the best in all of America. Madison Martinez of Gahanna Lincoln High School. We're going to she had made a big announcement last week about her choice for college. And we're just going to get into a lot of different things with her just background in athletics, just how talented she is on the track and the volleyball court, academically just outstanding. And again, one of the best athletes that you may not know of here in Central Ohio. She's outstanding, and we'll talk to her later on in the show as well. But let's get to it as we always do, as we kick off every show with the C.O.H.S.S score rundown. Just giving you all the scores from last night. We had some interesting scores out there. One just really big one, but we'll get to that. Some history made out on Livingston Avenue last night. But let's get to it. Gahanna, let's start with that score. Why not? Since that's going to be our guest today. But Gahanna, they've been playing solid. They took a tough loss to Lancaster a week ago after a huge win versus Reynoldsburg, who was undefeated. But they get back on the winning track. They get a victory last night, 62-6 over Grove City. Lancaster, a team we talked about, they're going to be in our Pick Six. They are on a roll. Believe me, this is a team that not a lot of people are going to want to face heading into the playoffs. Lancaster with a big victory last night, 35-21 over Pickerington North. Again, I talked about it last night. I was there. It was cold. It was rainy. Livingston Avenue, Reynoldsburg with a big victory over the defending state champion, Pick Central Tigers, 24-21. We'll definitely get more into that game. Olentangy, 42-14 over Westerville North. Olentangy Liberty with one of the best players in America, Zach Harrison. He is a difference maker. They've only lost one game since he's been back. We'll get into that a little bit more as well. They got the victory 17-3 over Olentangy Liberty. Upper Arlington with a victory over Central Crossing, 24-7. Dublin Kaufman, they keep it rolling, 51-6 over Westland. Hilliard Davison, 28-7 over Marysville. Hilliard Davison, another team that's continuing a very, very solid season. Hilliard Darby, 31-28 over Delaware. Dublin Jerome, 37-17 over Olentangy Berlin. Dublin Scioto, a team we talked about before. A lot of young talent on this team. They're making some noise. They're going to be a team to watch out for in the playoffs. They got a big game next week, but 39-10 over Thomas Worthington. Hilliard Bradley, another team we talk about that's sneaky. Not a lot of people talk about, maybe on the outside of some people's top 5, but they continue to win, 48-10 over Worthington Kilbourne. Groveport, 28-19 over Big Walnut. Canal Winchester, this team is impressive, getting great play from the quarterback position. They have a stud at running back, Stephon Bird, a freshman. He's putting up amazing numbers. They get the victory last night, 59-6 over Newark. They're going to be a playoff team you want to keep your eye on. New Albany, 32-6 over Franklin Heights. Let's get into some City League scores, okay? Beechcroft, 20-0 over Linda McKinley. Centennial, going to have another winning season, looks like, 48-6 over Mifflin. Northland, 14-0 over Columbus East. Northland did have to play without some suspended players from a game that they had in Dayton last week, but they still pull out the victory 14-0 over Columbus East. Afrocentric gets the victory 28-20 over Columbus West. Eastmoor Academy, I told you, I think they have a great opportunity heading into the playoffs. We talk about what a great matchup it would be to see Hartley versus Eastmoor. We may see that. They keep it rolling 65-0 over Briggs. Independence, surprising. I was surprised by the score, 42-0 over South. Wasn't expecting that at all. Another game that's in our pick six, I thought this had a chance to be close. It was. Walnut Ridge 35-28 over Marion Franklin. That was an exciting game in the city last night. London, they continue to keep it rolling 56-0 over Bexley. That is setting up a monster showdown. It will definitely be in our pick six to end the season next week. Whitehall with Ramel Bird, only one loss on the season, and they've been rolling against KJ Price and London. They keep it rolling. They're going to come in undefeated at 9-0. It's going to be an amazing showcase there next week in Whitehall. Columbus Academy 47-7 over Liberty Union. Amanda Clear Creek gets the victory over Hamilton Township 37-0. Bloom Carroll 44-7 over Fairfield Union. Tays Valley gets the victory over Circleville 53-0. Worthington Christian 48-6 over Fairfield Christian. Zanesville Rosegrants 33-19 over Grove City Christian. Harvest Prep still undefeated, still handling business down there in Division 7. Keep your eye on this program. We told you they lost some talented individuals last year. They're back, still doing the same work. 12-0 over Fisher Catholic last night. Let me see. Let's move on to some more scores here. Westone out of the City League. They get the victory over the Columbus Crusaders last night, 47-0. DeSales drops a tough one. They needed this victory. Their playoff chances are going to be on the outside looking in. They do have another game remaining, but again, a game in our pick six. They take the loss last night to Cincinnati Winton Woods, a program that's having a really solid year also, 28-14. Hartley, we talk about Hartley. They do what they do there at Hartley. They get the victory last night, 45-38 over North Canton Hoover, another team that was state ranked in their division. That'll be part of our pick six as well. St. Charles 42-0 over Kip Columbus. Watterson 14-0 over Logan. Whitehall, we talked about Raymel Bird having one of the best seasons in Whitehall history, if not the best. 49-14 over Reedy. That game was played at the Fortress of Obetz. Grandview 41-29 over Logan Elm. Johnstown, another team, top ranked in the state, still handling business, 21-7 over Lincoln Heights. And Jonathan Alder gets it done over New Carlisle Tecumseh 27-0. That's going to wrap up our C.O.H.S.S. score rundown. Again, you can see the scores going over the lines here. I do want to say, if you are watching, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You can watch. You can follow. I would love you to like the show, share the show, comment on the show. Who's your team? Did they get a big victory last night? Are their playoff chances in jeopardy? Is your team solid for the playoffs? Comment. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you out there. You can watch the show on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, okay? Comment any of those places. Let us know who's your squad out there, okay? So, again, done with the score rundown. And now what I want to do is bring in my guy, TJ Walters from Ohio Elite Prep Magazine. We're going to get into this pick six, some of the top 6 games that we saw from last night. I'm going to take a quick break here, and we'll get everything set up for you. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the C.O.H.S.S, the Central Ohio High School Showcase. A huge night last night. Again, please like, share the show, comment on the show. Let me know what's going on out there. Your favorite teams are. Did your teams get a victory last night? How are they looking as we wind down the season and get ready for what I think is going to be a tremendous playoffs? Join me today, this morning, TJ Walters from Ohio Elite Prep Magazine. We're going to run through some of these games. Some games we'll spend a little bit more time on than others, all very important games. So let's start with the Pick 6, C.O.H.S.S Pick 6. First game that we had on the Pick 6, DeSales going up against Cincinnati Winton Woods. DeSales took the loss last night. We know that DeSales have dealt with a lot of injuries, especially at the quarterback position. They've had one of the best players in the state, Joey Velasquez. He's been basically doing everything for them as far as offensively, defensively, playing some quarterback, doing everything. The University of Michigan commit. It's going to be tough for them on the outside looking in to get into the playoffs. But just a solid season overall for DeSales. They went and played everybody. They've traveled. But you had a little bit of information on Cincinnati Winton Woods and the kind of season that they're having this year, right, TJ?
Yeah. Cincinnati's a pretty tough team. They had a loss earlier in the season. And now, I mean, they've just been rolling. They're 9-1. They have some athletes down there, Mikael Wingfield and Mayan Williams. They have some ballers. They have a good, talented team. You just kind of feel bad for DeSales and what they're going through, but they still have a tough team. They played them tight pretty much the whole game. And Winton Woods just took over there at the end, like I believe in the fourth quarter. So DeSales got their work cut out for them, but they still have a special talented group.
I agree. So. Talented group of young men over there. DeSales always has a solid program. And I think for DeSales moving forward, they got one more game. They got to get that. Got to get a victory there. And I believe that and we'll see how the computer points play out. The thing with computer points and we dealing with a team like DeSales, there's going to be teams ahead of them. Are they going to take a loss? Are they going to fall back and open the door up for a team like DeSales to get in and make a run in the playoffs? So, again, they take that loss last night. That was a tough loss, but a big-time program that they chose to play later on in the season. And the DeSales, they have schedules like that where they necessarily don't have to play in their CCL. They do. They lost that to Hartley last week, which was another tough loss, 2 in a row. Let's move on to game number 2 of the Pick 6. And TJ, man, this is a team that I have been on for the last couple weeks. They're making everyone believers, and that is Lancaster. They get the victory last night, 35-21 over Pick North. This was a game that both teams needed. Just your thoughts on this game last night and just the potential of Lancaster going forward.
I think the weather helped them out a lot because it kind of slowed Pickering and North's passing game down, where they had to do a lot more running. And Lancaster, I mean, it looks like they have a nice defense, and they was kind of set up for that. So the weather just played into their favorites.
Yeah, it was a tie game at the half, 21-21. Lancaster scores a touchdown in the third, touchdown in the fourth. Look, I've been saying this the last couple weeks. This is not a team that you want to play when we get into these playoffs. The weather's not getting any better. We're not going back to spring. It's going to get colder. It's going to get, more rainy, more snowy. And the physical game that Lancaster plays, tight in the box, not a lot of passing. We always know that they're physical on defense. I believe that this team has a opportunity to really, really make some noise. And I wouldn't be surprised if they are playing in a regional final with an opportunity to make it, to that special round out in Canton. I mean, your thoughts?
Yeah, they're kind of built for it. I mean, they've been rolling on the back of Alex Widener. He's a person you can give him the ball 30 times and keep running. If he's 3-4 yards and he's gone, and they're satisfied with playing that style of football. And it's kind of tough to defend. I mean, because, you come up and it's 3rd and 3, boom, they're getting another first down and keeping the sticks moving.
Absolutely. Now I want to talk about Pick North for a minute. Pick North, they're going to be on the outside looking in, going into a huge game next week against Gahanna. Let's not act like everyone doesn't know. Mike Lowry was the quarterback at Gahanna last year, the last 2 years, returned back to Pick North to play with the group of guys that he had been familiar with from a younger age. Now he's going to have to face Gahanna, needing that game with an opportunity, okay, to basically make it into the playoffs. The irony of that is unbelievable. They have a tough night last night. Mike Lowry, 16 of 36 for 201 yards. He threw 3 touchdowns. Jalen Baylor had a touchdown. Tyler Foster had a touchdown. But what are your, what do you have for Pick North with one game left and what's going to be a rival game for sure?
Well, I mean, I think it's going to depend on the weather. I mean, if it's a cold, rainy day, I think it plays heavily into Gahanna's plays into Gahanna's hands also. Because Pick North, from what I've seen from them, I mean, they like to spread the ball around. They like to, they like to throw. Sometimes they rely on that throw. And if they're not able to do it, such as they wasn't able to last night, it's going to have they're going to have some problems.
It's going to be an interesting game. Gahanna, solid defensively, got good players in the defensive backfield. LaCar Trent, great speed, able to run with wide receivers. And then Justice Harris, running back for Gahanna. That's going to be an interesting game next week. Pick North, Gahanna. That'll definitely be one that's on our Pick 6. Pick North. Pick North needs to find a way to run the ball, sustain some drives, not put everything on Mike Lowry and those talented weapons that he has on the outside. Chris Scott included in that. But it's going to be a big one. Pick North needs to lick their wounds. They need one game next week. They need one game against Gahanna, and we'll see how that plays out. Gahanna's going to be ready for it, I'm sure. Let's move on to the third game in our Pick 6, Olentangy Orange versus Olentangy Liberty. Olentangy Orange, they need this game. They're still fighting for playoff contention. They haven't lost a game since one of the best players in America, Zach Harrison, has been back. They've lost one game, failed 2-point conversion. Let's just talk about Olentangy Orange for a moment. Moving forward, is Zach Harrison the kind of player that can impact their season, that can make a special kind of run when we get into the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. Just the numbers alone that he had last night. Like 4 catches for 37 yards. I mean, that's, how can you stop the kid? And then on defense, he's flying around. I think he had like 2.5 sacks last night. I mean, you have to game plan for him. You have to watch out for him because, I mean, he's dangerous offensively and defensively.
And with what we expected defensively from him, he's showing that now. But what I don't think people realize is just the kind of athlete that he is. If you've never had a chance to see him play, how big, how strong, how fast, and he's making plays on offense, which I think is opening everything up for Olentangy Orange. And But this was a big game because Liberty has been the team the last couple years. Olentangy Liberty has been the team that has been making the playoff runs, the deep playoff runs. They get the loss last night, but I think this is a program that, moving forward, I think they'll be able to bounce back, and I think they'll be solid when we move forward. Just not only this year they were a solid team, but moving forward as well.
Just growing pains with them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had a tough season. Like they had a few losses and stuff that was pretty close. So I believe they'll bounce back again next year.
Robbie Dayhuff at Olentangy Orange. That is a quarterback that is leading this team. He needs a lot of credit as well. You can have talented players, but you need a leader out there. And Robbie Dayhuff, he's been leading Olentangy Orange. Now 6-3. They've got a game left. If they can get to 7-3 and make it into the playoffs, I think that there will be a huge problem with, again, Zach Harrison, one of the most freakish athletes that we ever seen come out of Central Ohio. Let's get to this. Let's get to the fourth game in our Pick 6 here. North Canton Hoover versus Hartley. Hartley, you got some numbers on the young man who's been doing it all year. Jalen January, he put up another huge game last night. Hartley gets the victory, 45-38 in a non-league game. North Canton Hoover, a team that came in with their own credentials, ranked in the state in their division, but Hartley gets the victory. Who was special last night for the Hartley Hawks?
Man, January absolutely killed it. Basically almost 270 yards on the ground, 4 TDs. I mean, like he was pretty much kind of unstoppable, And with the weather just played right in his hands. They just stacked the box. and he's just pretty much just running through everybody.
Like, as far as Hartley goes, man, we remember they opened the season with Wheelersburg, the defending state champions. They took the tough loss there. People were kind of whispering, hey, what's going to be at Hartley? What's going to be at Hartley? We look back now, 9 games later, Hartley's 7-2. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be one of the teams that have a chance to bring this title back home. As far as I'm concerned, Coach Birchfield, man, he runs his system. He knows what it is. He knows what they want to do. It's been super successful. He always finds it back like he has with January here, who's going to put up big numbers, a lot of carries, and you know, I think the sky's the limit. But I do think there is a team out there, and we talked about them earlier, Eastmoor. I would love to see that matchup. I think it would be awesome for the city. Would you have a favorite in that? Let's just hypothetically real quick, Eastmoor versus Hartley, just to put it out there.
You know, I mean, I think it's going to come down to the passing game because both teams have an excellent run game. You know, Eastmoor, they have Savon Edwards, and then, like I said, Bishop Hartley has January. I think it's going to come down, you know, to the quarterback play. You know, is Miles going to be able to manage the game? Miles Fleming, is he going to be able to manage the game and, you know, make the throws that he needs to make, you know, in order to keep the sticks moving. Because Eastmoor have a tough, exciting defense also, and they can stack that box, and then they can make it really tough for January to get yards.
Eastmoor with some players to go both ways. Napoleon Harris, the wide receiver corner. Savon plays both ways. But their quarterback, Marquise Laster, he's been also a leader for that program as well. He's been leading them. And I think that they have your punt returner. I'm sorry.
Cameron Long.
Let's shout him out, man. The best punt returner in the city, maybe in the area. He makes big plays all the time. So they have definitely some weapons and some speed and athletic ability that I think it would be tough for Hartley to deal with. But again, Hartley, very physical. They're going to bring 8 men in the box, football, that kind of football. So I think it would be awesome to see. Let's move on to game number 5 of our Pick 6 this week, and that was Warner Ridge versus Marion Franklin. I thought this had a chance to be interesting. We seen Warner Ridge against South, a big victory for Warner Ridge there. I thought Marion Franklin had a couple more athletes that they could bring to the table in a passing game with a quarterback, Kazion Brown. He threw a couple touchdowns. Warner Ridge in the tie game, they get a touchdown pass from Isaiah Murphy to Keon Magwood, the 3-sport star over at Warner Ridge, to get the victory and escape 35-28. Just your thoughts on Warner Ridge. If they can get an opportunity to make it in the playoffs, can they make a lot of noise?
You know, I think they're not. It's gonna hurt them a little bit because they're not battle tested. You know, I think they have kind of a soft schedule that they had to, you know, that they pretty much run through, and it may hurt them. You know, I think they're on the bubble of even, you know, making it in.
They are on the bubble.
You know, so I mean, you got to take that into consideration, and so you don't know how they're going to perform when they play somebody who's, you know, a really talented program.
I can almost agree with you, but we know that Warner Ridge has a lot of talent. We've talked about it before on the show. Julius Wood at safety, Keon Magwood, a wide receiver and corner, Isaiah Murphy, the quarterback, Sincere Staples, the running back. They have another running back, they're a young man that's a change of pace. They have players. But I'm like you. I would like them to get into the playoffs, to see them play a team with the equal kind of talent and see how that game goes. Marion Franklin almost pulled the upset, and they have some players over there as well. The reason this game is interesting to me, Marion Franklin had a stranglehold on the City League for almost 2 decades, where they be almost running through seasons, not even losing games within the league. That run seems to have come to an end. South is a program that's making some strides. Warner Ridge is a program that's always near the top of the City League. Eastmoor, you know, their resume kind of speaks for itself as far as their athletic programs. So, you know, at the top, the City League is in some good hands. But I believe that Warner Ridge, big win last night. This may help them a little bit in the computer points. But again, like you said, interested to see what they can do in a playoff format, right?
Right. I agree.
So let's move on. A big game there we had in the City League last night, but the biggest one of all last night, the Battle of 256, I heard is what they call it. Pick Central at Reynoldsburg. The weather basically prevented it from being a standing room only situation. It was difficult to park. It was difficult to get up and down Livingston last night, but it was well worth it. I just want to, I was there, so, I'll be able to elaborate a little bit more, but you can kind of jump in wherever you need to on this one, TJ. Man, it was fun, okay? Mm-hmm. Fun game. Reynoldsburg, we know they had got off to the first 6-0 start since 1961. They were having a tremendous season. Pick Central, the defending state champions. This seemed to be the two best programs athletically, at least from that perspective, in the area. They didn't disappoint last night. Reynoldsburg gets the victory, 24-21. First of all, TJ, just tell me, how surprised were you when you seen the score last night?
I wasn't really, because I it's another one of them games I thought the weather was going to have an effect on the game. I didn't think Pinkerton was going to be able to come up with enough plays from Jameer Jackson out of the backfield. And I thought they should have probably tried to be a little more creative with the passing game, even though they wasn't really able to because of the rain, it was just coming down, and it made it real tough. And, from the pieces that Reynoldsburg has on defense, they got some guys over there, Keyshawn Slaughter and them guys, with the up front four, it makes it really tough for, teams to run. So, I really kind of wasn't surprised about it whatsoever.
It was a crazy game. Look, Reynoldsburg jumped out to a big early lead, 7-0. The quarterback Watley hit the young man Kosi Goff, who had a big game, a huge game. Actually, 2 touchdowns for Reynoldsburg. Caught the touchdown to put him ahead, but early he put him up with a long touchdown reception, made it 7-0. Desmond Cooper came back. He had a touchdown run that made it 14-0. Pickerington Central got back in the game in the third quarter. They had a kickoff. It was a fumble on a kickoff. Picked up, ran in for a touchdown. That got them back in the game after they had a touchdown in the first quarter by Lorenzo Styles Jr. Got his feet down in the end zone for a touchdown. So we're looking at this game here. But a lot of the game was based on turnovers. A lot of the points came off of turnovers. Quarterback, we love him here. Demetric Crenshaw, he had not his best game. He had a fumble late in the game that set up the touchdown for Reynoldsburg to go ahead. So let's look at it this way. Pick Central, they're going to be in the playoffs. They've had an outstanding season, only 2 losses on the year. What do you see looking ahead for Reynoldsburg? They have a huge game next week against a team I think is the hottest in the area, Lancaster, okay? So they're going to have to bounce back with another big one next week. But what do you see as far as them going forward? Is this a team that could win a state championship, Reynoldsburg?
Oh yeah, they have the pieces, but they got to look one game ahead, one game at a time. Because like you said, Lancaster is a tough team. They didn't have some big wins,
and they have to go there next week,
and they're rolling. So that'll be a huge win for them, and that's going to get them prepared for the next team that they face. If they if they can win out, they'll be pretty good.
One thing I like about Reynoldsburg is it's always impressive when your best players don't have their best games and you are still able to win big games like this. Mershawn Rice did not have a big game offensively, but his teammates picked him up. I love where Reynoldsburg is. Defensively, the defensive line is tremendous. They put a lot of pressure on Crenshaw. But, again, so is Pick Central's defensive line. It was hard for Reynoldsburg as well. They made a couple plays in the passing game. I think, personally, going forward, Pick Central needs to open up the offense more. Use Samuel Terry. Use Styles. Use guys like C.C. Gordon. Get those guys open in the passing game. Use Dwayne Carter in the middle. And as far as Reynoldsburg, keep believing. Keep doing what you're doing. This was the biggest victory in the history of Reynoldsburg High School athletics. They hadn't beat Pick Central in 16 years. Okay? It was a huge win. I just want them to stay focused and keep playing to your best of your ability. And I think it should be a special, special season for them as well.
I think so. I agree with that.
So look, that is the C.O.H.S.S. Pick 6 games of the week. We have a special interview coming up with a young lady who is tremendous academically, athletically, volleyball, track and field. We're going to bring her in, Madison Martinez from Gahanna Lincoln High School. We'll be back with you in a moment. But while we do that, I want you to take a look at some of the impressive work that Miss Martinez put in last year during track season.
On your mark. Running in lane 1, Tecumseh sophomore Kylie Maston and Sylvania Northview senior Jenna Kill. Jenna was 8th a year ago. Lane 2, Boardman freshman Reagan Berkey and Rocky River junior Ava Rouser. Lane 3, Brunswick junior Haley Borges, Hilliard Davidson senior Megan Scully. Lane 4, Mason sophomore Faith Min and Austintown Finch senior Lauren Dolak. She was 6th a year ago. Lane 5, Gahanna Lincoln junior Madison Martinez. She was runner-up last year. And Hilliard Davidson freshman Lindsay Stahl. Lane 6, Beaver Creek senior Stephanie Pierce and Nordonia senior Carmen Light. Lane 7, King senior Carly Connor and Hudson senior Emily Aiken. Lane 8, the defending state champion junior from Thomas Worthington, Gia Napoleon, and Gahanna Lincoln junior Shanae Dees. She was 3rd a year ago. And in lane 9, Westerville Central senior Sydney Capo and Maria Midpark junior Morgan Jankowski.
After 13 events in the girls division, the top 4 schools, Troy has 22.5, Kingswood 23, they're tied with Youngstown West. They've also 23, and 31, Lancaster. Martinez across the line, 208.89. 5th place, Pickerington Central senior Crockett Schooler, 38.28.
We are back. Welcome to the Central Ohio High School Showcase, the C.O.H.S.S. What you just witnessed there was one of the best 800-meter races we've ever seen from a young woman. That was Madison Martinez from Gahanna Lincoln High School. And awesome to join us today. Madison, how are you? Good morning. Thank you for joining the showcase. How are you feeling today?
I'm pretty good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. Listen, I appreciate this more than you know. It's a pleasure to be able to showcase some of the fantastic athletes that we have in Central Ohio, not only in football, which is a big sport, we get it out here, but other sports, volleyball, track and field, you know what I mean, soccer. We just have so many athletes, and I'm just a pleasure for you to join us today. So let's get into it, okay? You know what I mean, I'm a big track guy, so I love track. We just watched that state championship from you last year in the 800 meters. But I want to talk to you a little bit more about your overall athletic career, which I was surprised to find out this year, okay? Just watching the last couple of years that you were a tremendous volleyball player. Got a chance to come out and see you in a couple games. Super impressed. We're going to talk more about volleyball because I believe it's a sport that's really blowing up, and I want to hear more about that. But I want you to tell us about you. I want you to kind of go back. Tell me about your athletic career. Where did it start? How old were you when athletics became important to you? And just what were the sports that got you started in your career?
Yeah, well, I was pretty young when I started playing sports. Both of my parents played college sports. My mom played volleyball, and my dad played golf. And so sports was kind of just like running in the family. And so when I was young, I played softball, I dove, I swam, played soccer for a long time too. And so those were really the sports that I started out playing. I played multiple sports. It was something that I loved to do. And and as I got older, I sort of found out what I liked and what I didn't like. And my two main sports, middle school, was track. I started running track in middle school, and then volleyball and soccer. And so eventually, like when I got to high school, I had to pick between volleyball and soccer, and I ended up choosing volleyball because it was a sport that I loved. And then I also continued running track as well. And as time went on, I thought volleyball was like sort of like my first love kind of thing. And but so then I decided to run or play volleyball in college, and I realized that I really loved track. And like as I was going through high school, like that was a sport for me. Like I loved the competitiveness. And so that's when I sort of decided that I wanted to run track in college. And so just sort of switched gears, and, growing up, just being super athletic, super busy all the time. Like, I think that really helped me to like be good at multiple things.
Now I want to go back. You talked about swimming and diving and, even on the soccer pitch as well. Like, what are some of just the what did you gain from playing those sports early, before kind of choosing up on one sport? And was it hard to give away, things that I'm sure you were successful in? Because you've been awesome in volleyball and track, so I can only imagine you were awesome in those other sports as well. And you told me a little bit about playing softball as well, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't really play softball that long. I realized it wasn't the sport for me. I played it. I played it like for one summer, and it was just like too slow of a game for me. I like physical contact and stuff like that. But growing up, I learned like from soccer and diving and just like the team aspect of things, and realizing how you can find some of your closest friends through sports. And I think that was the main thing for me, is really creating those relationships and like finding how to be a team player, how to be a leader. I think those really helped me like bring me to who I am today. And just growing up around those girls, like spending multiple years with them, like it was so much fun.
So let's talk about volleyball for a little bit here. So I want to get into this because it intrigued me when I seen you on the volleyball court, okay? And a lot of people may not know this if you don't follow volleyball a lot. But when I came to see you for the first time, you had on a different jersey than everyone else on your team. I was intrigued by this. I wanted to know what it was. So I want you to explain for the people who don't know a lot about volleyball, what that position is, why do you wear a different color jersey, and what does that allow you to do, and some things that you can't do as far as the team aspect in the game is concerned.
Yeah, so the different colored jersey is called the libero position, and pretty much that is like a defensive specialist, and they stay in the whole game pretty much, and they're out for one rotation. They're usually sub in for like a hitter that's not as good like in the back row.
And so not to cut you off, but if you can see here, you see everyone's in white, and you have on a blue jersey kind of in the middle of the court. So go ahead, continue, please.
Yeah, so I mean, my position is mainly to put up a good pass, as good as a pass as I can for my setters. That way we can set up our offense, and just being able to have that person on the floor all the time really helps the team out.
Wow. Like I was so intrigued, and then I never seen you like spike the ball or anything like that. So then I thought like, okay, so there's certain limitations to the position as well about what you can do physically between the bump sets and the spikes, right?
Yeah. So like as a libero, you're not allowed to jump. Like your hand and ball contact can't be over the net, and if it is over the net, then it's like called as like you're just not allowed to do that. So then they call you and then give the other team a point. But yeah, that's one of the rules and limitations that comes as a libero position, is you can't go over the net.
Now, earlier in your career, you thought that you were going to play volleyball in college. It didn't, turn out that way as you became so successful in another sport. But as we look at some of the clips here, you playing volleyball, I just want to give you this opportunity right now to talk about the team that you've played with, some of the seniors that you played with over the last 4 years. You have some really talented young ladies that you play with. And let's give those young ladies a shout out as we kind of progress through this, and because we're going to end up at track and field, because that's just, that's my sport. That's what I love. So, but let's just talk about your teammates, what you've been able to accomplish with them over the last 4 years. And then I want to move on to a different part of volleyball where you got to play some international or some Team USA experiences as well.
Yeah, so I mean, with this school season, it was really fun because we have 5 seniors, and that's really uncommon for like a volleyball team. And so it was really fun to like create the bonds with them and stuff. So like I played with them last year. So that was really fun, and just seeing everyone come back and better and like all working towards an end goal. It was just like so much fun being able to play with everyone all together, like knowing that this is our last year, so we want to give it all that we got. And so it was like amazing creating those relationships, and like those are some friendships that I'll never forget.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love the bonding. You know what I mean? You never get this time back in high school. You're going to move on to college. It's going to be a different atmosphere, a different feel to everything. But you're right. Those high school bonds you will have for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your experiences. Team USA volleyball. You were able to win a gold medal, right?
Yeah, we won nationals.
Nationals, absolutely. So let's just talk about that. When you get to that kind of level, when you're playing with the best of the best young ladies in your age group, how is that a little bit different than a high school game when you get to that national level?
Yeah, it's definitely different. With that, it was my club team. I played at Mintonette, and so when I was 16, we went to nationals, and we were ranked like top like 5, and we went to really good tournaments. We won like a lot of tournaments where it was competitive and everyone wanted to win kind of thing. And so when we went to nationals, I think we were ranked like maybe 3rd or 4th. And so the year before we got 4th place, and we just missed the podium. So we were really motivated to go out there and just win, give it all that we got. And so we ended up winning the 16 Open Nationals, and that's the highest division in the 16s age group. Wow. And so that was like so much fun, and it was a really cool experience just to like win with all of like some of my best friends, and like we had worked so hard for it. Like we train all summer, and it's like every day, and it's just like finally all that hard work paid off. And like coming back from like being 4th last year, it was just like something that I'll never forget. Like winning in that last point, going down and realizing that we had won is like an unreal experience. Like it still doesn't seem real, and it's been like over a year. And
you can remember every point, huh?
Yeah, it's really crazy. And but yeah, comparing club to high school is really different. So like in club, I'm used to playing with some of the best people like in the country, and just going from such a high level to like not like just like a little bit lower level, just because everyone isn't as experienced and has that sort of grit, I would say.
But do you?
It's different.
It's different. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. But the fact that you had the opportunity to play on that level, you got a chance to showcase your skills and be recognized.
Yeah,
as one
it was
of the
awesome.
best. Absolutely, absolutely. I want to transition a little bit now from volleyball to the track of, the sport, the track, tracks, the sport of my heart. Last year, it was tremendous for you. 800-meter state champion.
Yeah.
4x800 meter state record. One of the top time in the nation last year. 4x4 was tremendous as well. I want to talk about these 4 young ladies that help you accomplish the 4x800 meter record. It was tremendous. You start every meet with this race. Allison Groves, Shanae Diaz, Claire Stigerwald, and yourself, a state record time of 8:53:49. It sent shockwaves through the entire stadium. Just walk me back a little bit through that race, what you remember, just the energy, the buzz in the stadium, and just having that moment with those other 3 young ladies.
Yeah, I mean, going into the race, it was on rain delay. So, I mean, the meet was already delayed an hour and a half. And so we were already all warmed up. And, like, my coach is really good, like, talking with us. And, like, it's okay. Like, this happened to me. Like, we just got to stay focused, stay ready, and, like, expect this. Like, it's going to rain. It's probably going to be a delay. So just be ready. So I think that really helped us, like, take control of how we were feeling and how, like, amped up we were to run that race because we knew what we could do. And, like prior practices before the meet, we sit down and talk about race strategies kind of thing. And like we knew we were all super capable of breaking the record and winning. And so I think we were all really ready to run, and we're all super competitive, so we wanted to win. And so when we finally got it out on the track, like an hour and a half later, we were prepared. Like our coach prepared us really well. We knew all we had to do is run because our training is going to pay off. Like we're super fit. And so I know Claire said that if we got like the baton and the lead to Madison, that it was pretty much over with. And so, yep. And like Claire ran an amazing leg. She ran like a 2:13, and that was like a huge PR for her. So that helped us so much. And Shine led us off so well, and Allison did really good in her middle leg. And she had come back from an injury. So like from the previous year. And so she ran really well, and just to have her be a part of that again was so much fun. Like they're all my best friends, and I'm so glad that like we could accomplish that together. And so like when I got the baton, I really wanted to just like be relaxed, but I was like, no, I can't do this. Like I have to get this like record, and we have to win. And so yeah, just as I was running, I was really focused, and I love running on the back stretch of the stadium because you can see the boards. So I could sort of see everyone behind. Well, I couldn't really see them behind me, but I knew they were really far back. And so I just kept running, and I just tried to give it all that I got. And it was just so cool hearing, like when you're running, you don't really hear anything. You just hear like, it's just like blocked out for me anyways. And
believe me, it was loud.
Yeah, but
it was loud.
It was so cool just crossing that line and watching it like tick, and just like how low, and how it was just awesome. Like it's something that I can't explain. It's it's a really great feeling. Yeah. You
get the record. So now you have to come back. You have two more races, the Open 800 and the 4x4. Just tell me the mindset going into the 800. You knew that you were one of the best. You had been there the year before, okay? With one of the top finishes as well. But you wanted that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I definitely wanted it, especially like the year before I had gotten second. And in indoor, I had gotten second as well that year. I came back from an injury and had about a week to like train and get a workout in. So I wasn't too confident in that race, but I was still able to get second. And then going into outdoor, I just knew that I wanted it so bad. And just like the year before getting second, it just like it irks me almost. And so I just really wanted, like I knew I had worked so hard and I wanted that state title so bad. And just going into that race, I was confident, but my legs just from the race before, they were a little tight, and like I had some hamstring problems. So like I was ready, like once the gun like went off, like everything was going to be fine. I wouldn't feel my legs or anything. And I would just run. And so I think like going into that race, we just had to start the race, and then I'd be good. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what you're seeing on the screen now is Madison on her anchor leg of the 4x4 100-meter relay, which she was tremendous in that as well, also with another state championship. So Coach Whitaker, let's talk about him for a moment. He has run a tremendous program for years. I don't necessarily know if he's respected as the great coach that he is for what he's accomplished. The ladies are a little bit more dominant than the men, even though the men are doing their thing. Shout out to my guy, LaCar Trent. Shout out to my guy, Jerome Buckner last year. They put it down as well. But what you ladies have been doing is really been special. Just talk about the family atmosphere, the bond that Coach Whitaker provides for you all to run at this extremely high level.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, like the program that Coach Whit has built. I mean, he's been there for a really long time, and I think that the ladies have just gotten good in the past 6 years. And so it's really fun to be a part of that. I know like coming in as a freshman, the girls team had just tied for the state championship. And I was like, okay, I want to be a part of that. Like, I wasn't really sure if I liked track or not. And so I was like, okay, I think I want to do this. And so I think the bond that Coach Whit has created is really awesome. Like we have get-togethers, like during Christmas, we have like a gift exchange with the whole girls team, and then the guys team was there as well. So I think just creating those bonds with people just helps everyone run a little faster on the track, because then you want to do it for each other. And it's a lot of fun just being able to create those relationships. And yeah.
Absolutely. It's tremendous, you know, what he's built there, and what you young ladies and young men over there are able to get from the program. It's fantastic. You made a big decision last week, okay? Everybody in the nation was calling. Oklahoma State was calling. LSU was calling. Kentucky was calling.
Yeah.
Tell me when I leave them out. You know, I know it was
Penn
multiple.
State.
Penn State was calling.
A lot. Those are the.
They all wanted the
Yeah.
the tremendous academic and athletic services of Madison Martinez. But you settled on a school. I think it kind of opened up some eyes a little bit. People who don't know, the real story of track and field and the teams that are good out there. Everybody thinks Power 5 and
Yeah.
these schools, but you made a decision for Villanova.
Yep.
And they have an outstanding middle distance program, which is the events that you run and you're successful in. So let's just talk about the marriage, Madison Martinez to Villanova, and just what you expect and kind of what they expect from you.
Yeah. I mean, picking my school was really hard. I went on multiple visits, and I think when I went to Villanova, I already loved it just by like talking to the coach and having a home visit. And I was really hoping that the official visit went well, because I knew that was one of my top schools. And like the first day, I knew, like, we just went to dinner and met with some of the girls, and I went back to the hotel room and I told my mom, I was like, I'm going here. Like, I loved it so much, and I hadn't even seen the campus or met any of the other girls, but just like their personalities really like stood out to me, and like they were people that I could just be with, and they're like my kind of people. And so I really love Coach Gina. I feel like she's very smart. She's a great coach. She's a legend herself. She's a fantastic runner. And so I really trust her, just with me not like training as much as the usual track runner going to college. So I think she can transform me into a better track athlete, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Now, you kind of told me off, and I don't know if we should get a secret away because how good that you've been, but that you haven't really been fully committed to a track season almost yet, So I'm sure that they're excited to see the capabilities of what you can be with your time fully committed to track and field. And with the time that you ran last year, the 2:08, the time that I think you're capable of this year, which is a state record, tell me, what are your expectations when you get to that next level? Just having a taste of it now and making your commitment. When you get there, I've heard how competitive you are just in our conversation here, but you're looking to get to this level and become one of the best 800-meter runners in America. That's right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely looking to be like as best as I can be. That's my main goal. Like, just work hard every day, and like the results will come with the training. And so I think just transitioning to being a full-time track athlete, like, yeah, it's going to be really hard, but I mean, with results comes hard work, and you can't get anywhere without working hard and putting in that time. And so I think just being focused on what my goals are, and I think that'll drive me every day to just be better, and that it'll come with time.
Absolutely. A couple more things I want to get to here. We speak about Villanova. We know that is a program where academically you have to be not only sound but exceptional to attend a university like this. One of the reasons that I love having young people like you on is because you are taking that part of your craft seriously. Just talk about how important the academic piece is, to allow you the opportunity to be recruited by programs such as Villanova, Oklahoma State, LSU, and just what it means academically.
Yeah, I think academics is a huge part for any athlete. I mean, that can make or break you as far as what school you want to go to if you're really interested in a school, because you really have to have good grades, a good test score kind of thing. And I think just like how I work hard in sports, I work hard in school. And I've always been like a self-driven person kind of. And so I really work hard to get A's, all A's, and I'll study for a test or a quiz or do homework. Like, it's just the basic things, and it all adds up. And I think it's really important for any student athlete to take their academics seriously, because when you get to college, it's not done for you, and it's different. You'll be in class sizes that are a lot bigger. It's sort of an on your own kind of thing. And so I think it's really important for any athlete.
I like how you said that. I just do the basics. And if you take the basics seriously, you can achieve, right?
Yeah.
It's the basics. Do the homework. All right. So I want to wrap this up with you today. Our interview. Thank you again. It's been tremendous. Just learning so much about you. I want to talk about some of the people that have helped you get to this point. Not only a Coach Whitaker, not only your teammates. You brought them up earlier. Your dad played golf in college. Your mom volleyball in college. But just talk about the family dynamic. I got a chance to sit down with you guys, you and your mom, earlier as we set this up, and I've seen your dad, and we've talked on multiple occasions. Just talk about the camaraderie, the family, just the love that you have for each other, and how they've supported you to get you to this point.
Yeah, I mean, my family has always been so supportive of me. I mean, we've traveled all over the country just for sports, and just that they're able to sacrifice their time, like when I was younger, to take me to practice or drive me from one practice to the other. Like, it's something that I'm like so thankful for, and I'm like, I don't really realize that like not everyone has that, and so I think I take it for granted sometimes, but I'm really thankful that they were able to do that, because I don't think I would be where I am today. And just also them supporting me in my big decision in deciding to decommit from Ohio University to play volleyball and to run track. Like, that was a really hard decision. It took months to finally decide what I wanted to do. But even friends, family, they were always there for me. I could always talk to them about anything. They were open to any of my decisions. They knew I could do great things on any level. And so just having that support system is awesome. Like, my grandparents come to every one of my volleyball games, home or away, and just having that and realizing like how close we are. I just really love that family aspect of things. And I think that they've really, just their support has helped me so much. And along with my coaches and like volleyball coaches, track coaches, just them being there for me, being so flexible with my schedule has helped tremendously, because I really couldn't be the athlete that I am today. And choosing to run track at like a super high level wouldn't have been possible if they wouldn't have been like flexible with me and so supportive. And yep,
it's tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Oh, but no, I do as we wrap up here. Shout outs. I love shout outs. Shout your teammates out, volleyball teammates, track teammates. We've mentioned a couple names so far, but anybody that we missed, go ahead and tell them that you love them. Tell them to retweet this and share this and that whole.
Yeah, I mean, just shout out to all my teammates that have been so supportive of me and like become my best friends, and also to my brother. I know he has a YouTube channel. Wanted me to shout him out at Ivy Storm. So he'll be happy that I did that. But also just like my family and friends for always supporting me and being there for me. And I couldn't have done it without you guys.
You heard it right here on the Central Ohio High School Showcase. Volleyball, national champion. Track and field, All-American, national champion, state champion from Gahanna-Lincoln High School. I want to thank you again, Madison, for joining me today. Madison Martinez. Look, volleyball is complete, but you can catch Madison. She's going to be indoor track, I assume, right? Mm-hmm. And outdoor. We'll all be there in June at the Jesse Owens when she'll be attempting to break more records, and I believe it's possible. I want to thank everybody again for watching. Look, you can go back and see the interview again, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We do this every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. I want to thank everybody who commented and who watched the show. Just thank you for rocking with us today. Again, it's the Central Ohio High School Showcase. Reynoldsburg with a big win and a tremendous interview with Madison Martinez, one of our state's best. It's the C.O.H.S.S. Be good. We're out.